Good evening and assalamu alaikum. Welcome to BFA's On the Ball show. You're live in the studio with myself, Imran Ghazi, and we've been away for a few weeks. Good to be back. Loads to talk about. Lots been going on as ever. But today, this show is dedicated to our guests who have travelled down the motorway from Cardiff and Swansea. So let's talk to these guys and find out what's been going on the Welsh side of the border and other things. BFA, we will be talking about the CFL League, the winners and the losers. And today we had a small matter of a cup final going on at Mile End Stadium with the under-14s Tower Hamlets Youth League, and we also had the CFL Winter Vets League Cup final as well. So I will mention them and I'll show you some pictures as well later on, but let's get cracking with the show and start with the guys on my left. I'm going to introduce, he's been on before I think when they were on last time, the secretary, the man in the know, the man who does all the work in the background, gets on with it quietly. Tamjid, assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam.
How you doing? You good?
Yeah, I'm good. You?
Yeah, good, thank you. We have the chairman, Mr. Anna Mia, assalamu alaikum. Also another familiar face. You've been on the show before.
Walaikum
Walaikum salam. Good to have you on the show again.
Thanks. Yeah,
and we will talk more to him. This is someone I'm looking forward to talking to. I think is related to Mo Farah apparently, but there'll be more to learn about that coming on. We've got Akmal who plays for the FC Dragons and is a bit of an international trialist, and we'll learn more as to what happened there. Akmal, welcome to the show.
Assalamu alaikum.
Salam. And to my right, we've got the vice chairman again, has been on the show again, can't get enough. He's back for more. Brother Ali Akbar, how are you? Assalamu alaikum. Good to you on the show. Thanks for being here today. And special guest all the way from the Welsh FA. I've been told not to say the FA. Gonna get him in trouble. We've got Mizanur Rahman. Assalamu alaikum, Mizan. You okay?
Salam. Thank you.
No worries. Thanks for coming on the show. Right. I tell you what. Let's get cracking. I'll put this down. I want to know about you guys. Bengal Dragons. You've had a trip down to Bangladesh, and I guess that's the best place to start. The last time you were on the show, you were talking about that. The plans were going ahead for it. And I'm going to come to you. How did it go?
Alhamdulillah, yes. The last time we were here, we discussed the plans for our tour, forthcoming tour to Bangladesh. So on the 21st of February last, we embarked on our journey for a 12-day trip to Bangladesh. And mashallah, we had a very successful tour. We played 5 games within the space of 10 days, believe it or not.
Wow.
It was very hectic, but mashallah, I'm pleased to say we all came through unscathed, and I was the most relieved man on tour, being able to take all these youngsters out there and bring them back and hand them over to their parents in one piece, which was my biggest worry, that something unforeseen might happen. But mashallah, by the grace of Allah, we came through unscathed, and more importantly, the boys absolutely loved it. They enjoyed the trip so much, and although the conditions were very tough, the heat was somewhat overpowering, but even then they battled through it. Some of the pitches were absolutely rock hard, but even then, and to play sort of 5 games within the space of 10 days was very challenging for any team. But I'm pleased to say that they did us and the whole of the UK proud, I felt, and the way they conducted themselves, and also the level of football they were able to play, and the public, in the local publics who were out in the huge numbers to support them and to see them play as well. So in a nutshell, the boys had a wonderful time, and I think the local public, wherever, both in Dhaka and in Sylhet, took them to their hearts as well. And everywhere we went, we were very well received, very welcoming. Everybody went out of their way to help us and to make the boys feel welcome along the way. I'm sure the boys will no doubt give you some of their own accounts of the tour. But in generally, I was most pleased that we came back with a positive frame of mind, and the boys looking forward to the next one. So.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Tamjid, come to you. Obviously, you're kind of the engine behind Bengal Dragons, and logistically, this could have been a nightmare. How difficult has it been, or had it, or was it before leading up to the tour? and you look relieved that it's over. But tell us about what went on in the background.
Well, you can't really understand how relieved I was when we actually got back, just to know that how everything went, it was all so smooth, no major problems, and I'm sure it was difficult, but we had the right intentions, and I think we had a lot of support from so many people. I mean, you helped us as well in just having us here, and you introduced us to certain parties that helped us get along with our program, and everything just went really smoothly. We had 2 really great games in Dhaka, and then 3 really great games in Sylhet as well. So everything went as well as we could have possibly hoped.
Okay. Akmal, coming to you as a player, obviously your first trip to Bangladesh, the motherland, and how was the experience for you, and was it a positive experience?
Yeah, definitely. I'd say it was a positive experience. I hadn't been back home, I think it was about going up to 15 years. So I went up with a friend of mine who went to try for the under-19 squad. The experience was unbelievable. Just looking at the way they play, they're more like tactically, they're not that advanced as us. But when it comes to us, we're like physically better and technically better also. So that was an eye-opener. And definitely...
they were technically and physically better, or you
no,
guys?
we were technically better.
Okay.
But they were physically better. And obviously because they're used to their conditions, they could run a lot. So yeah, it was definitely an eye-opener.
Okay. Akbar Bhai, obviously from your perspective as a vice chairman for the organisation, in terms of the arrangements and going back, I'm assuming this is the first time you've been back to Bangladesh to be involved in a football tour.
Well, unfortunately, I could not go.
Oh.
Because
Good thing I did my research.
Yes, I could not go because on that day, actually, the day they traveled, my niece's walima was on that day.
Okay.
So I was more, because of that, I could not go. And I was really, heartbroken, actually. But mentally, I was with the boys and with our Anabai. I was on the phone up virtually almost every day.
Okay.
And
so you were there in spirit?
I was there in spirit, definitely. Also like to thank, actually, from, as Tamjid said, from your side, the contacts, what you gave.
You're welcome.
And there's Kabir Bhai, actually. He did guide us also. And also all the our community in Cardiff. There was a lot of sponsors. Can't name it all, but I'm sure the sponsors who knows who they are, and our our best wishes and our gratitude thanks to all our local community and the sponsors.
Okay.
And as the boys said, actually, I think some of them did go first time, even though it's our motherland, but some of them was the first time up there.
Yeah.
But I was keeping all the mothers, even though he said he was keeping the boys happy in Bangladesh, and I was keeping all the mothers, the parents happy in Cardiff, actually, especially in Wales, because all the parents was contacting me nearly every day how the boys was doing.
Okay.
And so yes, they were all, the feedback is the boys had a good time there, and we're all proud of it. Even the parents were all proud of them when they come
that's
back.
Good. Well, you know what? Just from what you've just said then, what Anabai said, I think the fact it really does emphasise how important, or it shows that the fact that you guys are a family club. You get in touch with, at this age, it's still, often managers and organisations lose touch with the fact that it is these young kids have parents, and when you get to 19, 20, no one really cares about what the parents are, but to keep them updated and everything, that's good stuff. All right, so well done. We'll talk more about the tour in a bit, but we've got Mizan Rahman here from the Welsh FA. And first of all, thanks for coming on the show, because I think from our perspective, we know a lot about the FA, the English FA. We've only recently obviously met you guys, and we've become partners, and we're working together, and hopefully we'll working more in the future. But hopefully, I'm curious to learn more about what you do, and more importantly, a young Bangladeshi working for the Welsh FA. It's rare that you have people from the BME community who are working in organisations such as the FA, whether it be FA or Welsh FA. But tell us a bit about what you do and what your role with the Welsh FA is.
So my current role is I'm a partnership manager. So I cover a South Wales region. We are split up into 6 regions, just like in England, they're split up in regions. So But before that, for 7 years, I was a BME Football Development Officer. For the audience who don't know what that is, it's Black Minority Ethnic Football Development. So my role was to cover Swansea, Cardiff and Newport, which is the 3 main areas with high BME population. So my role was to get out there, develop football in that community, support as much as I can, apply for funding, in any aspect. There was no, when I first started, there was nothing to work from. So myself and working with other community organisations, I've actually built the strategy ourselves. So it was 7 years, we were very successful. We've had, obviously the Bengal Dragons have started themselves from scratch with only a little bit of support from my end. But before that, there have been other projects that the Welsh FA have supported. And it goes from anything from funding to covering coach education costs, because we know that's one of the biggest barriers. Working with various organisations and charities, to improve community cohesion as well. And there have been numerous successes with Multicultural League. We've done the Refugee Football League as well.
Okay.
So that was the first in UK, which was set up, which I ran for a couple of years, and a couple of teams have actually played the Bengal Dragons in the Cohesion Cup. Currently now, obviously, we've had a recent restructure, and I'm a partnership manager, but I oversee the BME football development. And obviously, coming from a Bangladeshi background, I'm obviously going to be more connected with my community friends, brothers, families, and plus, where I'm from in Swansea, which is a high BME area, we're all kind of close, so everyone knows each other. Jalal who approached me for support, and I've said more than happy to support in any way I can, and which is, I think, the next step is going to be getting the Dragons into the league, a mainstream league, which I've always believed is the way forward if you want to get any sort of recognition. It's a fantastic opportunity for the players to go to Bangladesh and play. It's a fantastic project, program, whatever you want to call it. But and I'm sure the players have gained so much experience. Some of them probably haven't played mainstream before, but if you get them playing mainstream football and they can withstand all that pressure, the gameplay, everything, conditions, or the pitch facility, etc., like conditioning weather-wise and so forth, if they can withstand that and continue playing, then there's an opportunity to excel more players into the mainstream level, if you like, an elite level.
Okay.
So I'm here to support as much as I can, really.
What's your background in terms of your own footballing career? Tell us about your path.
So when I was younger, I was playing for school and county. I was in the Swansea City weren't in the Premier League then. Swansea City Youth Academy that were for 3 months. But I was working for my dad, so it was hard to sort of give that full-time commitment to the football and do a full-time job as well. So eventually my lack of commitment started to show with football, so I had to withdraw back. So I ended up playing for Llanelli Youth, which is...
Do you want a tissue?
Sorry?
Do you want a tissue?
I was hoping to get the violin out. So I started playing for Llanelli Youth, and then that was it. Then I didn't really excel much due to knee injuries and stuff, and that was it. But I'm more into the coaching side of things now.
Okay.
So
in terms of the Welsh FA, what was your path into that? Because for those that are watching, there's many people away from football. There are there are other opportunities. For, I'm assuming there's going to be a lot of people in Wales and watching this show.
You'll be surprised if I'm honest. I think it's a lot of luck because there's 2 jobs I applied for. It was this. And I know it's funny, Home Bargains manager's role, and I put all my effort in the manager's role because I thought I would never get a job with the FA.
Which is fair enough, of course,
and I applied for it. I went to the interview and I was honest as possible. We had to do a presentation on the barriers to football with ethnic minorities, 10-minute presentation, and then there's 2 levels of interview. Got past the first one, got called in for the second interview, and there was Q&As. So there was a lot of questions fired at me. Some of them I weren't really aware of what they meant and so forth. So I think it's my honesty, my footballing background, and the way I put myself forward, and me being a people's person. I was having a little joke and laugh with the chief exec, which I didn't know was a chief exec at the time, and kind of became a bit of a comic. But I think because of my personal appearance and all aspects, I think I got the role. All right. I had no degree or anything. So.
Leading question from what you've just said, we've had a number of conversations, in-depth conversations about the lack of BME footballers, the lack of Asian footballers, the lack of Bangladeshi footballers within the English structure. talking to these boys here,
Yeah.
Welsh structure seems quite welcoming, quite open.
Yeah.
So what are the barriers for the BME? Let's just say the Asian community, in your opinion, that you've seen over there in Wales.
The barriers are obvious. They're the same. They're the same across the border. It is more welcoming. I think we got a specific BME program which kick-started everything. So when the Welsh FA employed me, they actually started a BME football program. There wasn't anything. So we have a disability football program. We have a women's and girls. Obviously the boys and the men's and seniors, and they decided to set that up as well, and hopefully to achieve the 7-star award from UEFA. So that helped a lot, and that's why it might seem welcoming, but I think the barriers are the same. I think main barriers, which I think some of us will agree on, is parental support. You know, that's the main thing. If we're not taking our kids, you know, to the after-school activities or the local football clubs, and they are very passionate about football, then how do you expect them to excel? You don't want them to be independent when they're 16, 17, all right? And then think, right, I can catch a bus by myself, I'll go training. I cycle down, and my mum is a bit more lenient for me to go out. And then they start going training and so forth. You don't want them to start at that age, because the peak age, I believe, is they should be spotted by then. So if they're really good and they're playing really good in school, they should be supported, taken to clubs by their parents. It's not long. It doesn't take. There's so many clubs around your local areas. You know, that commitment from training to once a week or twice a week, and then take them to their matches. If they, with that skill mentality from each player, if they start to develop and show that from 11, 12, 13, then they're most likely to get picked up. After 15, no clubs look at them really. They start to get released at 16, so why would a club take them on? So if they're starting 17, 18, and I can speak for a lot of the players who are playing in the Bengal Dragons, they probably didn't start playing properly until they're 18, 19. Do you know what I mean? And although it's a great, fantastic opportunity, we want to see the youngsters coming up, but most importantly, parental support. And that covers then the financial and the transport barrier, which is the other two barriers that we all know of.
So in your opinion, you have the talent in Wales?
Yeah, I think I believe so. Yeah.
You're just lacking the support.
Yeah.
All right.
I think just to touch up on what Mizan has just said, I think it's pivotal that parental support, it's the grassroots level is where they where they should be at at the age of 4 to 5. That's when they should be taken to these grassroots level clubs and introduced to clubs. And parents, I know it's difficult for us sometimes, but it's the commitment from parents will go a long way to establishing a future Premiership player or something to a higher level.
All right, just moving on again from what Mizan said regarding the ability levels within the Asian community. It's there. The parental support is an issue. You guys the next step is to move into the Welsh Football League, Sunday League, whatever it may be, the mainstream league of a sort. So what are you guys going to be doing at Bengals in terms of thinking with the future in mind? Surely you've got to start thinking about maybe setting up an academy of some type for the kids that.
Yeah. So basically, we want to use the same structure that you've used. I mean, you started Sporting Bengal with just a senior team, and then now you've got your Tower Hamlets Youth League, where you've got your team, FC Osmania, under 14s level. We want to have a Bengal Dragons team that will be available at all ages for everyone to be playing. So if you have it doesn't necessarily just have to be for Bengalis, but if you see if Bengali parents see other Bengali parents taking their kids to their football matches, we think that will help spur them on, help them believe that there's a chance there.
So how are you going to change the mindset? Parents having them there, bringing their kids to training. How are you going to combat that?
The way we started it was we want to give them role models to aspire to. If you have, because one of the problems right now, on top of the fact that there's not much parental support, is you don't really see any Asian football players playing at the highest level in any British football. So if we can try and get our team to say one of the higher divisions in Welsh football, they would be able to show that that you are capable of reaching high levels, and then hopefully that would change the mindset of parents.
Okay. Sorry, you want to say?
Yeah, I'm just going to add something as what Mizan actually just said. It is very, at that, especially being an Asian background also, and especially us Bangladeshis. Yes, most of our parents are busy working, as you said. And a lot of, when you get to the age, at the moment our boys are playing, 14, 15, 17, 18. Some of them are in education, or some of them are already helping their parents in their, in their respective businesses. I was one way. I mean, at that time, my boy actually plays for Bengal Dragons, but he's about, he's just going to be 18 next month. Now, I couldn't able to. I know Anabai took his boys every day, and sometimes I used to feel sorry for I was lucky. My neighbor was the coach of my boys. He was our local Welsh local man. So because he was a neighbor, he was a coach. Marlborough Sports, they have from the under 7, I think they had. I think your boys played for them as well. Under 7 till the youth. And Javid still, I think, is still registered with them. But I was very lucky. Now, if it wasn't for those two coaches, Javid wouldn't be playing now. And also, what he does actually, we support him is, as I was just talking to Mizan just a few minutes ago, that obviously supporting our boys, our community, keep them off the streets, also keep them fit, because if you look at a lot of way, it does feedbacks to how the boys are. If they are from year 7, from 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, that could, if anything, if they don't succeed in the field they're in, at least they'll be fit. And look at us. I know we've all fit once, but it will keep them fit. And so it is in our own interest, to support our boys.
Just to touch up on what you just mentioned there, Akmal Bhai. Before our parents, and I'm looking at my peer group, a lot of people were working unsociable hours. So it was very difficult for them to get up early in the morning, say 7, 8 o'clock in the morning, to be able to take their kids, because the trainings are normally, as you all know, they start early in the morning. The clubs, they start very early in the morning, and the games are usually in the mornings as well. So the parents, normally it was the dad whose responsibility it was to take the boys to the football, and the mothers either did not drive or were not able to do that. But now I think we're getting to a stage where now we're going to the next generation, whereby both parents are able to help in that respect, and I think that will help the future up-and-coming youngsters.
All right, brilliant. Well, that's been insightful. Thanks for Mizan's input. I think when we come back, we'll talk more about FC Bengals and what you're going to do. I want to talk more to, obviously, Akmal as well. He's, for those that don't know, he did have trials with the Bangladesh under-19s team. We'll learn more about his run that he did last week, or yesterday, I think it was as well. So, yeah, I want to talk about that as well. So, guys, let's go for a quick break. We'll see you in 2 minutes.